now we will discuss the effect of nitrates problem and how this nitrates is coming into our aquaculture ponds, mainly our shrimp ponds, and what are the things really happening. And so when you give the nitrogenous source to our pond, it's like in the form of feed or in the form of excreta, all this decomposed wasted feed and the excreta turns into the organic sludge, which produces the ammonia and ammonium ions. And what happens after this? So in the nitrogenous circle, in the denitrification process, the first step is it gets oxidized and converts to nitrite. This is nitrite. And the second step is it converts to nitrate. And the bacteria which converts ammonia to nitrite is ammonia oxidizing bacteria. And nitrite to nitrate is nitrite oxygen bacteria. So this bacteria, this nitrogen oxygen bacteria and the ammonia oxidizing bacteria, and ammonia oxidizing bacteria is otherwise known as Nitrosomonas, and this is NOB is Nitrobacter. And when it comes to the exterior toxic effects, nitrogen, ammonia is a site specific. It's kind of toxic gas around the pond from the bottom. But whereas nitrite is more dangerous because it reacts with the circulatory and the immune system of the animal. It enters into the blood. So when we are talking about the shrimp, the blood is the copper hemocyanin. So the nitrites oxidizes the copper molecule in the shrimp, and it gives a great toxic effect, and you'll see a great mortality within days. But we need to remove this nitrite using nitrogen oxidizing bacteria, and it requires a lot of amount of oxygen for the nitrate oxidizing bacteria to convert nitrate into nitrate. This is nitrate, and this is not so harmful as it was nitrite. Nitrate is purposefully needed for shrimp for fish ponds, and they use that poultry waste and other organic manure to liberate that nitrates into the pond environment to increase the levels of useful algae and the natural plankton for fish. But nitrite is harmful for both fish and shrimp. And in case of fish, it reacts with the hemoglobin molecule, iron molecule in the hemoglobin. So, and the red blood converts to brown blood and the fish dies. So this is, it's not a site specific, but it attacks the immune system and circulatory system of the animal. So we have in our R&D department, we have isolated the NOB9 and NOB21 for removing this nitrite bacteria, and we have given 5 samples to 5 ponds in 5 areas, and we are checking it what is the efficiency of removal of nitrites from the ponds. So at different salinities we are getting the data. In poorly oxygenated ponds, especially where there is the DOA levels are very normal, below 1 or below 2, this nitrification process is very slow. And usually if the nitrate levels are greater than 0.5 ppm, it's going to be very toxic. And mainly it comes out during the later stages of the crop, especially after 60th day or after 65th day. So in order to control this, in many areas, farmers are just applying salt, and it works at some lands and it's not working at some areas. And even when it works, like in the laboratory, when it is falling below 0.5 ppm, but there is no data that the pond is being sustained for some growth period, even though it just masks for in the laboratory report, but the nitrate is not really being controlled. Because if the real nitrate is being controlled, even applying after the salt, the feed should be intake and the growth should happen, but it's not happening. And the farmer is finally harvesting. He's not happy even with the salt because the culture is not going in the growth periods. So in order to control this, we need to have the NOB bacteria with enough oxygenation. So in our R&D department, we have isolated NOB, nitrogen oxidation bacteria, nitrite oxidation bacteria, NOB9 and NOB21. So we are giving, in laboratory scale, we have really controlled the nitrite level, and we got to see how the things are happening at different salinity levels and different areas. So if you want me anything to discuss further, you just shoot out an email to me, and we are a team of technicians and chemical engineers, so we'll be a better resource for the betterment of the shrimp culture.